Hello everyone. In our previous video, we have seen theoretical portion about flow, subflow, and private flow, as well as flow reference. But in today's video, we are going to cover these things practically. So you can see this first picture. This is representing your flow. There are three sections. One is source, process, and error handling. So if I talk about the configuration, then in general there are multiple sections in flows: configuration, general, metadata, nodes, and help. If I talk about particularly in general section, there are flow configuration, under which you can see name, initial state, and max concurrency. So you can the name section represent that you can change the name of your flow, like my flow. Okay, so the name will got changed. So name has changed, that is now my flow. Likewise, there is option initial state. So there are two states, started and stop. By default, nothing is selected. So you, when you need to choose started and stopped, I will show you in another video. And there is max concurrency. Okay, so what is concurrency? Okay, let me show you. The maximum concurrency, this value determines the maximum level of parallelism that the flow can use to optimize for performance when processing messages. So we'll talk about it later. For now, you just need to understand, like, there are these things are there in flow that you can use according to your need. Okay, so in source section we keep event source listener. It can be your like HTTP requester, your scheduler, or on new and update connectors. So let me just delete this. Okay, so in this flow, that is our main flow, we have taken a flow reference, and we have configured this flow reference, and the path of this flow reference is flows. And there is one logger, and the logger name I have changed to logger1, and I have set the message main flow logger number 1, and I have used a flow reference. So what it will do, it will call our child flow. This is our flow, or we can say this is our private flow, as there is no event source listener in this flow. That is why it becomes your private flow. So we are referencing or calling this child flow from our flow reference. when uh, when we will call this flow, it will process synchronously. Synchronously means when our flow reference call this child flow, uh, in that case, first we will process this child flow components completely, and then control will go back to the main flow, and then logger2 will execute, and after that there is another flow reference that is calling our child subflow. We have also taken a subflow. So what is subflow? We know from our previous video, like in subflow there is no event source and no error handling. There is only process part. So we cannot have so we are not having source and error handling part here in subflow. So we are only getting, or we have only a process part in subflow. So we have used subflow, that is child subflow. And okay, so when this flow reference call this child subflow, so it will first execute all the components of this child subflow, and after that control will go back to the main flow. So we can understand from this, like, our flow and subflow by default process synchronously. I hope you have cleared, it will clear your concept of synchronous calling. Synchronous means when we will call this flow, in that case our execution of our main flow will pause. Till then our child flow completes its processing. After completion of the processing in child flow, control will go back to the main flow, and it will execute your logger number 2, and then will control again go back to the for this flow reference, and it will execute your subflow, and after that control will go back. So let me just put a logger. Okay, so end of the processing. We can also change the logger name and logger. Okay, so that's how we can use flow and subflow as well as private flow in our Mule application, and we can refer these flows and subflows by using flow reference. So if you are a beginner, then it will clear your concept like how you can call one flow or child flow from another flow. For now you know that we can refer another flow and subflow by using flow reference, and by default flow reference process your child subflow and flows syn- synchronously. Synchronously means after calling this child flow, it will not process further in main flow. It will let the child flow complete its processing. After that it will process further in main flow. That is your synchronous processing. So by default of flow and subflows process synchronously. So now you have clear with these things, and I hope it will be benefit for you. That's it from my side. We'll see you in next video. Bye bye.